Begin this hour with wrong-way drivers in South Carolina. 4 people were killed in York County yesterday. Highway Patrol says 2 vehicles were involved, one of which was heading south on the northbound lanes of I-77. 2 cars hit head-on. Now, that was at least the second time this past weekend where a driver was going the wrong direction on a South Carolina interstate. A separate incident happened on I-26 in Newberry County. A Lowcountry firefighter recorded a driver going east in the westbound lanes. He spoke with us about what he saw. Our Charleston Clark is also working for you tonight to find out how often this happens. Charleston.
That's right, Natalie. In 2019, there were 2,150 collisions from driving the wrong way. 76 of those were fatal. A Lowcountry firefighter had a near miss himself this weekend. Whitesville Fire Department Lieutenant Colt was off duty when he spotted a driver traveling the wrong way.
It was a very white-knuckle experience. I was expecting at any moment for there to be a very bad accident.
It was 1:36 Saturday morning when Colt called Highway Patrol about a wrong-way driver, but he believes he was in the right place at the right time.
And my first thought was to try to get their attention. I activated the emergency lights and the siren and used the PA trying to get their attention.
But when that didn't work,
so my focus then shifted trying to get the attention of oncoming drivers. Hopefully they would see the lights, they would at least slow down, maybe move over and be vigilant looking, hey, what's going on up here? And hopefully they would see the vehicle traveling towards them.
After about 10 minutes, troopers were able to stop the car. The driver, Deolly Maitland, charged with DUI and driving under suspension. Roy wants other drivers to remain observant when on the road.
Drive safe and keep your eyes on the road, because sometimes it's the things that you don't expect to happen that could come at you head on.
Traffic safety expert Trooper Bob says it is important to get out of the way if you see headlights coming at you.
You want to limit your distractions. You always want to pay attention to the roadway ahead of you. Know where you are on the interstate. Know if you can go to the left or to the right if something does happen. Just like a pilot's always looking around, where should I land if something happens? You should always be very well aware of your surroundings, especially on the interstate. Know if there's a vehicle in front of you on your left or right, and always be aware, because at interstate speeds, you have very little time to react.
I've always struggled with how many barriers we should put in front of getting a free, accessible public education.
The new date means that any student without a mask will not be able to learn in a CCSD school without an exemption until mid-November. The extension comes as new COVID cases in the Palmetto State are on the decline. Cindy Coates was the one no vote on the board. She says falling case numbers and the number of students voluntarily willing to wear a mask make her question a requirement.
I struggle with the mandating the mask. Should we be in a position to say that you're not allowed to be inside a school building if you're not willing to wear a mask?
In a letter to parents, the district says the reason behind the extension is to limit the spread of COVID-19, but for Coates, the money and manpower being used to enforce masks may be a better use elsewhere.
Can you imagine if we considered the achievement gap as big an emergency as we considered 5% of the students not wearing masks and just deployed this much resources to that for 1 year? So it's not an additional expense. It's a question of we've had this money and we didn't deploy it for these purposes, but now we have to deploy this money for this mandate.
Numbers from DHEC show that COVID cases have been steadily falling in South Carolina since mid-September, but Dr. Kay Durst with Roper St. Francis says she agrees with the board that masks are necessary until numbers get even lower.
Even one case is not good. However, the numbers are now in the thousands. We would like to see it down to less than 100.
Coates says the next 30 days are an opportunity to discuss this mandate and open up the conversation.
Let's look at the effect. And instead of just, we have to have a mandate and we'll just keep going forward. I mean, I think this is something that deserves a public conversation.
The struggles of food-based dilemmas are over. Lowcountry organizations that feed the need are seeing an unexpected lack of supplies. North Charleston's Neighbors Together, the former Tri-County Family Ministries, has seen its stock drop to pretty much nothing in recent weeks. Now they need your help.
Usually you cannot see our walls, and if you pan around, you see it's totally empty over here, totally empty in the corner, and totally empty behind you.
The struggle is getting worse for Lowcountry nonprofit Neighbors Together.
Bare walls, It's a total difference from what it usually is.
Pantry manager Jocelyn Smalls worries for her clients.
It means we can't help our neighbors.
Bare walls or not, the need remains.
Serving chicken, beef, all kinds of stuff today.
Last year was a troubling time for those in need. Unfortunately, 2021 has been cooking up even more obstacles.
It has been a challenge this year because we really thought that 2020 was going to be our worst year and that 2021 was going to improve with so many more people getting back to work.
Some recent help has been greatly appreciated by the organization and its clients. Unfortunately,
but that 3,000 pounds of canned goods will go out to our neighbors this Wednesday, and so we will be right back where we started. It's just a drop in the bucket for what we do every single week here at Neighbors Together.
About 15,000 pounds are needed weekly.
Potatoes.
The group tells us that during all of 2020, 2,100 bags of groceries were given out. In just the first half of 2021, more than 3,000 bags. Keeping up with those rising numbers is tough.
I think the supply chain challenges combined with sort of an assumption on our community's part that everything has gotten back to normal has led to bare shelves for us.
One positive is the community's compassion. While we were doing the story, another promise of help was on its way.